Hello there, my crafty friend. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today we are painting part 2 of Chaperon Rouge, and I'm just loving how this one's coming along. It's just beautiful. I'm in love with the artwork and the colours and everything about this kit. It's really lovely. So today we've got quite a lot to do, so it could turn into a bit of a long one. We are doing all the trees in the background, we're doing Mr. Wolf, and we're doing all of the flowers in the foreground. So we better jump on into it. But before we do, take a look at my new intro. I've always wanted an intro. I've never had one, and I finally got one. Oh, it's looking so good. Oh, I'm loving it so far. All right, what have we got to do next? Today we are going to work on the trees, Mr. Wolf, and these flowers around the front here. Now that does to me sound like quite a lot, because I really want to fuss with some of these the blending around the trees. I want to add back in all the little original flecks that I think were in the original artwork. And these flowers aren't really just paint and go. I want to fuss with doing some of these little flicky stems and maybe some little details in the leaves. In the rendering, all of these little leaves that are highlighted here on the tree seem to have lost their roundness. In the original image, I'll whack it up on the screen about here, you can see that these leaves should be all quite rounded, but here they've just in the way that this image has been rendered, this artwork, all of these leaves are really quite jagged, ending in squares and triangles, and so I'm going to put those curves and those rounded bits back in. All right, one tree at a time. Let's have a look at it after that and then move on. Okay, so I've finished this first main leafy background of the tree here. Most of it does need a second coat just to give it, you know, a real solid look. So as I go back and touch up and do the second coat, I'm just going to mush those areas of colour together so that we don't have any sectioning between it. Okay, so it all looks like a little bit of a mess at the moment, but we are going to tidy it up now as we go over the top. So now to get nice straight lines, I really need a fluid paint. So I have juiced up that paint with a little bit more flow aid so that we can get a really fluid, neat edge stroke going down. And we definitely need a second coat, that's okay, and we can start to form some leaves. So I started off doing these leaves with just the smallest kit brush, but I just wasn't cutting it for getting these little fine lines going down here. So I have swapped to my 50 liner. So it's like a long kind of liner brush, and I find it easier to get these little tiny leaves going on. I've painted the background of the tree, and I've just started going over it with the lighter blue colour, putting the leaves on, and I think it's going to look all right. I'm a bit nervous. It wasn't easy to do these leaves. They're kind of a little bit wonky, and they're not really smooth. But I'm just going to keep going and see how that comes out. Okay, so I have finished tree number 1, which is not looking too bad. So I rounded off these little leaves, so instead of being jagged, they're kind of all a little bit curvy there, and I blended in the two green tree kind of areas here, and there were 2 different colours for the tree trunk, and I blended those together. So I think that's looking all right. I think that's going to be okay. These little leaves were really very, very slow. That just takes a long time with paint by numbers. When you've got big areas like these, you can get through it really quickly, but these little tiny areas, they just take forever. So I'm just going to do the same process again here. I'm going to repeat these 3 trees here. They're a lot smaller. Hopefully they won't take me quite as long. The other thing I'm pretty sure we're going to want to do is these little circles, kind of like little leafy areas in the tree here. There's only a few of them here that we're meant to kind of replicate, whereas in the original it's like a pattern that continues the whole way through this leaf area. So I think I'll want to add a lot more of those in.
But I have forgotten the sweet taste of chocolate I taste on your lips.
So I have added a little bit of streaking in here through the green just to break it up a little bit. I rounded off the dark part here because it was kind of just didn't have any definition. And now I'm just going to go and put in these little spots in the tree.
Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's been too long, but I heard from someone that you're back in town, and if it's not too late, I can bring chocolate. It's been a long year, but maybe you missed me. I think you might remember the words of that tune. So here's my love letter, entrusted to the weather. We'll ride across the waves and float through the clouds, and when it's delivered, do what you want with it. You can send it back or keep it around.
Alrighty, I have finished the trees, all the trees here on this left hand side, and I think it's looking okay. I really love these colours. I think they're just so pretty. So you can see here I have done a little bit of blending here into the trunks where there were 2 colours you can blend in, and I had to kind of reform these leaves, so I painted over all the little sections that were printed, and kind of reformed those to be a little bit more rounded and a little bit more kind of leaf shape. I'm quite happy with how that's come out. I think these spots in the tree are still a little bit wonky. I might go back and fuss with those later on. But now it is time to move over and do these trees, this group of trees here. So I'm going to just paint them according to the sections, and then we'll have a look and see if we want to make any changes. So let's go. Alrighty, so I have finished painting these trees on the right here, just according to the plan and to the sections. So I've only done one coat, which is why they still look a bit patchy and still look a bit streaky in some places. So I nearly always do 2 coats with just about anything. But it gives you an idea of what it would look like if you just followed the plan and you didn't do any freestyling or anything out of the box at all. But so having a look at this now, I can see the changes that I want to make. So I think we could blend the different background sections of these trees. We can blend all of those together there, and then I will do the same thing in the trunks as well, where there's some sectioning between the colours, the trunk colours. I think we can blend those together for a bit of a better look. And after I've done that, there's just a few little irregularities that I want to fix up. The first one is this tree trunk here. For some reason, I'm not sure why, but it doesn't actually attach to the tree. So that's just something that's happened in the rendering, I think, because it is definitely meant to. It is definitely meant to attach to the tree, or disappear up behind this tree. But for some reason, it just stops a bit short. So I'm going to fix that up. And the other thing is, I thought this area here just looks a little bit empty and a little bit like there's just a bit of a blank space there, and that's just because a tree has actually been left out in the rendering. So you can see here there is actually meant to be a dark green tree here in the background, so I'm going to put that back in as well. So they're the things that I want to work on while I do the second coat on this paint. Alrighty, what do you think? What do you think? Oh, look, I'm loving it. I think this is so pretty. I just love these colours. I think they just work so well together, all these greens and aquas. Really pretty. Let's do Mr. Wolf. Normally what I do is that I just paint it according to the plan, then look at it and make some changes. However, there's something that I just know I'm going to change straight away. Here we go. Okay, so with the original artwork here, you can see Mr. Wolf is just like a solid black colour. But look, in the paint by number render, for some reason, and I can see it with the numbers on the canvas, they've got him as black at the front, green in the middle, a grey colour here above his back leg, and then back to black again for his tail. So black tail and head, and then green and grey in the middle. And yeah, I'm not too sure if I'm a fan of that. I think he really should be just one solid colour. So I'm not even going to bother, seeing what it looks like first. I'm just going to make him all one colour. Ooh, it's looking good. Mr. Wolf is done. 2 coats of that dark brown and he's looking great. Alright, so now it is time to start these little flicky flowers all around the front here and up the side at the bottom of these trees here. Now I'm a bit nervous about this. They're so delicate looking and flicky and kind of sweet looking and just so detailed that I'm hoping I don't make a dog's dinner of this. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the reference picture from the original artwork that I looked up, and my plan is to use the reference points from where I have left the gap, so I know exactly where those leaves are meant to go. Do my best with that, using very watered down paint for the stems and my liner brush. So for these little tiny little fine stems that we see here, I'm using this Montmartre, what is it, a 50 liner? I'll be using that, watering down the paint and doing it as a slow drag for these little bits here. Eek, I'm a little bit nervous about this. I hope I can do this and make it look good. I'll do my best. Oh gosh, okay. Alright. Oh, phew. Alright, that's not so bad. I was a bit nervous about doing that. Okay, so that has turned out okay. I will leave these little white gaps here. That's where I'm going to go back and do the pinky rosy flowers, and I'll do that a little bit later on. Alrighty, it's looking pretty good. I have finished all of the leaves. I'll bring it up so you can see. So I've finished all of the little flicky leaves and their little flicky stems that go down. I'm really happy with how that's dried and how that's looking. I think it's looking alright. It's going to be okay. Some of them are a little bit wonky. I'm not going to look too close at those wonky ones, and all I've got to do now is go back into these little areas where I have left the gaps to do the flowers. So that'll be lovely. I'm going to use the colours that are recommended, but I'm just going to blend some of these little areas together and put little yellow dots in afterwards at the end. Alright, I think I have done it. We have done it. We have done it. It's really cute. I'm loving the look of it. I think it's really sweet. Trees are done. Flowers are done. Oh, just on second thoughts, I think some of these little flowers through here, just that pink is really quite transparent. They could do with a second coat. I will go back and do that in a little while. But I think it's looking great. I'm really liking it. Wow. Wow. I hope everybody's enjoyed that one. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching me do this. All we've got to do now is Red Riding Hood here at the front with her beautiful coat. And I'm just loving this one so much. This artwork is so beautiful that I won't be waiting very long to get this done. So I'm hoping I should be able to get this done in the next week or so. So keep an eye out for that one. Subscribe so that my videos pop up in your subscription if you like. Thanks so much for stopping by, guys. See you in the next one. Bye. No, but I'm guessing.
Sorry, just if you like playing, stop saying bad stuff about me. Mom, there's an abracadabra.
Right.
That's actually what it's called.
Right.
I got a Pokemon card of it. Snorlax. Mama, Snorlax is rare.
Yeah, right.
Are they?
Oh, I don't know.
Are you recording a cool outro?
I keep on always killing myself. I'm gonna die. I almost killed myself again. Hello.
Hey.
My hair's gonna be really naughty tomorrow. Help me!
Help me, stop painting, stop painting. Help me.
No, take care of yourself. Oi!
Help me.
Out, all of you.